200 fun facts that'll actually make your life better.
So you like fun facts?
Well, you're in luck, we've got 200 of them. Have you ever wondered how many times you've walked around the world?
Or where your smallest bone is?
And what is a Jesus nut?
Well, your answer's here, and so much more with these 200 random, fun facts that will actually make your life better. So pull up a chair, get comfortable, and enjoy this awesome list of the top 200 most random and fun facts.
Number 1. Banging your head against a wall for 1 hour burns 150 calories.
Alternatively, you can walk your dog for 45 minutes, which also burns 150 calories, and is much less painful.
Number 2. In Switzerland it is illegal to own just one guinea pig.
This is because guinea pigs are social animals, and they are considered victims of abuse if they are alone. Why isn't this a law everywhere?
Number 3. Pteronophobia is the fear of being tickled by feathers. It's also a fear of feathers themselves.
The word ptero is the Greek word for feather, and phobia is also Greek, meaning fear.
Number 4. Snakes can help predict earthquakes.
They can sense a coming earthquake from 75 miles away, 121 kilometers, up to 5 days before it happens. Number 5.
Crows can hold grudges against specific individual people.
Crows can very easily distinguish humans apart from each other, whereas humans find it nearly impossible to tell crows apart. Fun fact, this is known as the crow paradox.
Number 6.
The oldest your mom joke was discovered on a 3,500-year-old Babylonian tablet. It was discovered in Iraq in 1976, however since then the tablet has been lost, but the text remains preserved.
Number 7.
So far, 2 diseases have successfully been eradicated, smallpox and rinderpest. The last naturally occurring case of smallpox was diagnosed in October 1977, and the last case of rinderpest was diagnosed in 2001. Number 8.
29th May is officially Put a Pillow on Your Fridge Day.
This strange holiday spans back to the early 1900s, where families would place a piece of cloth in their larders. It's celebrated in Europe and the USA to bring luck and wealth to the household.
Number 9.
Cherophobia is an irrational fear of fun or happiness.
That's one phobia I wouldn't like to have. It would probably mean they would fear these fun facts. Number 10.
7% of American adults believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows. I know 7% doesn't sound like a lot, but that actually works out at 16.4 million American adults.
Sounds like a lot now, right? Number 11. If you lift a kangaroo's tail off the ground it can't hop.
Kangaroos use their tails for balance whilst hopping, so if you elevate their tail, they would have no balance and fall over.
Number 12. Bananas are curved because they grow towards the sun. Bananas go through a process called negative geotropism.
Instead of growing towards the ground, they start growing towards the sun. The fruit grows against gravity, which gives the banana its familiar curved shape.
Number 13.
Most Korean people don't have armpit odor. Only 0.006% of the Korean population have the ABCC11 gene, which is the cause of armpit odor. As a result, deodorants are rarely sold in Korea. Number 14.
The original London Bridge is now in Arizona.
It was taken apart in 1963 and shipped overseas before being reassembled piece by piece.
This was to help bring people to the new, developing town. Number 15.
During your lifetime, you will produce enough saliva to fill 2 swimming pools. An average human produces between 1 to 2 liters of saliva each day, which is a maximum of 730 liters per year. The average life expectancy is just over 70 years, which gives a maximum of 51,100 liters of saliva produced in an average lifetime.
This is more than enough to fill 2 swimming pools.
Number 16. If Pinocchio says my nose will grow now, it would cause a paradox. This is known as Pinocchio's paradox. If you think about it, Pinocchio's nose would have to grow to make his statement not a lie, but then it can't grow otherwise the statement would not be a lie. Number 17. Polar bears could eat as many as 86 penguins in a single sitting.
If they didn't live at opposite ends of the Earth.
Polar bears live in the Arctic, whereas penguins usually live in Antarctica.
Number 18.
Car manufacturer Volkswagen makes sausages. Not only that, they make more revenue from their sausage sales than they do from their car sales.
Number 19.
Movie trailers were originally shown after the movie, which is why they were called trailers. The problem with the trailers showing after the film was that audience wouldn't stay around to watch them, making the trailers rather ineffective.
Number 20.
An eagle can hunt down a young deer and fly away with it.
Never underestimate an eagle. Number 21.
The smallest bone in your body is in your ear. The stapes is a bone in the middle ear of humans that which helps conduct sound vibrations for identification. It is only roughly 0.04 inch, 1 millimeter, in size.
Number 22. Tennis players are not allowed to swear when they are playing in Wimbledon.
Because of this, line judges have to learn curse words in every language so they know when a player has violated the rules.
Number 23. Only 5% of the ocean has been explored.
Alongside this, only 1% of the seabed has been discovered and explored. Sea exploration and mapping didn't truly start until the 1960s due to the lack of technology beforehand.
Number 24.
The top 6 foods that make your fart are beans, corn, bell peppers, cauliflower, cabbage and milk. It's probably best if you avoid eating any of these if you're going on a date.
Number 25. There is a species of spider called the hobo spider.
Most bites from the hobo spider, Tegenaria agrestis, happen when the spider is accidentally crushed or squeezed by a human.
Number 26.
A lion's roar can be heard from 5 miles away. To be more specific, a lion can roar as loud as 114 decibels, which is roughly 25 times louder than a gas-powered lawnmower.
Number 27.
St. Lucia is the only country in the world named after a woman. St. Lucia was discovered by the French after they were shipwrecked on the island. They arrived on December 13th, which is the feast day of St. Lucy, hence, why they named it St. Lucia.
Number 28. A baby spider is called a spiderling.
Spiders aren't cute, but this name kind of is. Spiderling is the official name for immature spiders. On top of that, spiderlings are often born in groups of thousands.
Number 29.
The United States Navy has started using Xbox controllers for their periscopes. You read that right, because the control stick for periscopes is so complicated, using Xbox controllers reduces the learning time from hours to minutes.
Number 30.
The following can be read forward and backwards. Do geese see God?
This sentence is what is called a palindrome.
The word itself is from the Greek palin meaning back, and dromos meaning direction.
Number 31. A baby octopus is about the size of a flea when it is born.
You would think this would make them hard to spot, however, since eggs are laid by the tens of thousands, it would be hard to miss a massive cluster of pea-sized octopuses. Number 32. A sheep, a duck and a rooster were the first passengers in a hot air balloon. You read that right. In 1783, the first hot air balloon was launched carrying a sheep, duck, and a rooster.
The flight lasted for 8 minutes before landing safely with its passengers. Number 33.
In Uganda, around 48% of the population is under 15 years of age. Of the 41 million inhabitants, nearly half of those are youths.
If you were to expand the age to just 30, that brings the percentage up to 77%. Number 34. The average male gets bored of a shopping trip after 26 minutes.
Meanwhile, women don't get tired of shopping until around 2 hours. So next time you see a couple at a retail store with a bored-looking boyfriend, you know they've been out for more than half an hour.
Number 35.
In the 16th century, Turkish women could initiate a divorce if their husbands didn't pour coffee for them. Today, this would be unheard of.
But back then, coffee was an integral part of Turkish society. So much so, that it was grounds for divorce.
No one knows why exactly this was acceptable, but the fact remains that it was.
Number 36. Recycling one glass jar saves enough energy to watch television for 3 hours.
Yup, that's how important recycling is. The average person has the chance to recycle 25,000 cans in their lifetime. That's 75,000 hours of television.
Number 37.
After the premiere of 16 and Pregnant, teen pregnancy rates dropped. MTV may not have the most wholesome programs, but after the premiere of this show, teen pregnancy dropped by 5.7% within 18 months of the show airing.
Number 38.
Approximately 10 to 20% of US power outages are caused by squirrels.
Harmless and cute as they seem, these fuzzy little creatures aren't as innocent as you think. Squirrels have a tendency of chewing the wires, but luckily it's a simple fix. Number 39.
Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are all banned in China. Those aren't the only ones either, over 8,000 domain names are blocked. Other major banned social network sites include Pinterest and Tumblr. Number 40.
95% of people text things they could never say in person.
Are you guilty of this?
I know I am. Number 41. Honeybees can recognize human faces.
Whereas before it was thought that only large-brained mammals could distinguish faces, but honeybees can do this as well.
They see faces in a compilation of 5,000 individual images, kind of like pixels. Number 42.
The Battle of Hastings didn't take place in Hastings. The famous Battle of Hastings actually took place 7 miles from Hastings in a town that is today known as Battle. Fitting, right?
Number 43. While trying to find a cure for AIDS, the Mayo Clinic made glow-in-the-dark cats. This is due to their use of a specific protein that was fluorescent green.
They used this protein to find out if their tests worked. If the animal glowed, the outcome was successful. Number 44. A swarm of 20,000 bees followed a car for 2 days because their queen was stuck inside. When the car parked, the thousands of bees swarmed onto the car and had to be taken off by beekeepers. The next day, the bees were back on the car because the queen was still inside and the swarm had to be taken off again.
Number 45.
Eating carrots can turn your skin orange. Called carotenemia, this can happen if you eat 3 large carrots or more every day for a long period of time. This is because the carrots give the body too much beta-carotene, which causes the changing color of your skin.
Number 46. Bob Dylan's real name is Robert Zimmerman.
Yep, his full name is Robert Allen Zimmerman. He started going by Bob Dylan early on in his career for no real reason.
Simply because he wanted to. Number 47.
A crocodile can't poke its tongue out. Because their tongues are attached to the roof of their mouths, crocodiles cannot stick their tongues out, although their very similar counterparts, alligators, can. Number 48.
Sea otters hold hands when they sleep so they don't drift away from each other.
This is a method mostly used by a mother and her pup to prevent them from separating. Other than holding hands, they may also wrap themselves in kelp to keep from drifting away.
Number 49. A small child could swim through the veins of a blue whale.
If you consider how large a blue whale's heart is the size of a small car, it's no surprise that a small child, around 3 to 4 years old, could swim through the massive veins of a blue whale.
Number 50. The word yawl dates back to 1631.
It was first used by English scholar William Lyle when he wrote The captive men of strength I gave to you, the weaker souled, and this you'll know is true.
Number 51. J.K. Rowling chose the unusual name Hermione so young girls wouldn't be teased for being nerdy.
The name Hermione came from Shakespeare's A Winter's Tale.
Rowling says when she chose the name, she didn't want a lot of fairly hard-working little girls to be teased if ever the book was published. Number 52.
Hewlett-Packard's, also known as HP, name was decided in a coin toss in 1939. The name was always going to be a hyphenation of the 2 founders' last names, so in order to decide between Hewlett-Packard and Packard-Hewlett, they flipped a coin.
Number 53. There is a total of 1,710 steps in the Eiffel Tower.
Standing 108 stories tall, there are 1,710 steps to get to the top of the Eiffel Tower. However, guests are only allowed to climb the stairs until the first platform. From there, they must take a lift to the top.
Number 54.
The Pokémon Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan are based off of Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. The third Pokémon of the Hitmons is also named after a martial artist. Hitmontop is named after a lesser-known martial artist, Larry Top.
Number 55. Pigs are very smart animals.
They are smarter than dogs, they can solve puzzles better than chimpanzees, and they have some of the best long-term memories known in animals. In fact, pigs are considered as the world's fifth smartest animal.
Number 56.
Pirates wore earrings because they believed it improved their eyesight. Along with many other reasons. Due to superstitions, they thought it protected them from bad eyesight, or even blindness, seasickness, and drowning.
Number 57.
Los Angeles' full name is El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora la Reina de Los Angeles de Porciúncula. The original name was quite a mouthful. It translates to Town of Our Lady the Queen of Angels of the River Porciúncula. Now, Los Angeles is just the angels.
Number 58. The Twitter bird actually has a name, Larry. The name comes from Larry Bird, who is a famous Hall of Fame basketball player. The species of Larry the bird still remains a secret. Number 59. Octopuses have 4 pairs of arms.
The 6 of an octopus tentacles serve as arms, while the other 2 are their legs.
They use 6 tentacles just to eat. Number 60.
In the popular sitcom, Parks and Recreation, the writers had no idea Nick Offerman was a talented saxophone player when they wrote the Duke Silver plot line. Nick Offerman has played the saxophone his whole life, so when the writer wrote about his character being a secret jazz musician, the coincidence was perfect.
Number 61. It snowed in the Sahara Desert for 30 minutes on the 18th of February 1979.
So far, this is the only known time in history that it snowed in the Sahara.
Unsurprisingly, the snow melted away very quickly. Number 62.
Mike Tyson once offered a zoo attendant $10,000 to let him fight a gorilla. As it is, Tyson bribed a worker to open the zoo for just he and his wife to see the animals. While on this romantic stroll, he tried to also bribe a zookeeper to let him fight a gorilla.
The zoo attendant said no. Number 63.
ABBA turned down $1 billion to do a reunion tour. In 2000, ABBA was offered $1 billion to reunite for 100 shows, which would have been $250 million per member.
They turned it down because it wasn't for them. Number 64. Captive pandas sometimes fake pregnancies.
Pandas sometimes carry on showing symptoms synonymous of early pregnancy after noticing their preferential treatment, such as private accommodation, air conditioning and extra food. Bonus fun fact, in captivity, giant pandas can live up to 35 years old, but only 15 years in the wild.
Number 65.
The first alarm clock could only ring at 4 a.m. Invented in 1787, Levi Hutchins needed a way to wake up in time for work, so he made the alarm clock.
It took almost 100 years for a wind-up alarm clock to be invented that could be set to any time. Number 66.
Some insects and small birds see the world in slow motion. This is because they process information so quickly that they perceive time as though it was in slow motion. The reverse is found in bigger animals, which process information more slowly.
Number 67. A goat called William Windsor served as a lance corporal in the British Army.
William Billy Windsor was part of the 1st Battalion Infantry Unit of the Royal Welsh between 2001 and 2009. He was briefly demoted to Fusilier after unacceptable behaviour at the Queen's official birthday celebrations, before regaining his rank as Lance Corporal.
Number 68. The most venomous jellyfish in the world is the irukandji. While it's not the most deadly jellyfish, it is number 2. Even more shocking is that this tiny jellyfish is smaller than your fingernail.
Its venom is 100 times more powerful than a cobra's.
Number 69. The 20th of March is Snowman Burning Day.
This strange holiday was spawned by American and Swiss citizens to symbolize the end of the winter season.
Number 70. Queen Elizabeth can't sit on the Iron Throne from Game of Thrones.
Queen Elizabeth visited the set of Game of Thrones, but because of an obscure rule, she wasn't allowed to sit on it. The ruling monarch can't sit on a foreign throne, even if it's fictional, apparently.
Number 71. There is official Wizard of New Zealand.
In 1990, the Prime Minister of New Zealand appointed Ian Brackenbury-Channel, who was an old friend, as the Wizard of New Zealand. He is even given an annual stipend.
Number 72.
An apple, potato, and onion all taste the same if you eat them with your nose plugged.
Our sense of taste is 80% made up of our sense of smell. If you were to blindfold yourself and plug your nose, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between these three foods. Number 73.
Vincent van Gogh only sold one painting in his lifetime. Just a few months before his death, Van Gogh sold his painting The Red Vineyard.
It was sold in Brussels, Belgium for 400 francs. Number 74.
A company in Taiwan makes dinnerware out of wheat, so you can eat your plate. Not only do they make plates out of wheat, but spoons, bowls, and chopsticks as well. The dishes can be kept for months as long as they stay dry.
Number 75.
The average person walks the equivalent of 5 times around the world in their lifetime. Assuming the average person lives until they're 80, they will walk about 110,000 miles in their lifetime.
The circumference of the equator is 24,900 miles. Number 76.
Michael Jackson offered to make a Harry Potter musical, but J.K. Rowling rejected the idea. Rowling defended herself because she says she turned down a lot of adaptation opportunities, and Michael Jackson's just so happened to be one of them.
Number 77.
The world record for stuffing drinking straws into your mouth at once is 459. Manoy Kumar Maharana, from India, broke the world record on 28 August 2017 for stuffing 459 drinking straws in his mouth at once. In order to break it, he had to keep them in his mouth for at least 10 seconds. Number 78.
Nutella was invented during World War II, when hazelnuts were mixed into chocolate to extend chocolate rations.
In an effort to extend his chocolate rations during World War II, an Italian pastry maker mixed hazelnuts into chocolate. The final Nutella product was created by his son, who decided to perfect the recipe.
Number 79.
In 2011, more than 1 in 3 divorce filings in the US contained the word Facebook. References to social networks are on the rise when it comes to divorce cases, as well as child custody cases.
Number 80. According to Genesis 1:20-22, the chicken came before the egg.
Depending on your beliefs, these Genesis verses state that God created birds, not eggs that would hatch into birds.
This includes chickens. Number 81. Ants leave maps for other ants when they walk.
Ants leave pheromone trails when they walk as maps for other ants to follow, meaning they can travel the fastest route to food or their hive. The more ants that walk that route, the stronger the map is for others to follow.
Number 82.
Tears contain a natural painkiller, which reduces pain and improves your mood. It's actually an endorphin, which is why you can tend to feel better after a good cry. So next time you feel the need to break down, don't be shy.
Number 83. Squirrels forget where they hide about half of their nuts.
While not all squirrels bury their nuts, the ones that do only recover around 26% of their nuts.
Number 84.
Male cats have longer tails than female cats. On average, male cats have a tail of 11 inches, whereas female cats have a tail of roughly 9.9 inches on average.
Number 85.
Dolly Parton lost in a Dolly Parton look-alike contest. Dolly Parton entered a Dolly Parton-themed drag queen contest, did her hair and makeup more dramatically, and not only lost, but received the least applause.
Number 86.
George W. Bush was once a cheerleader.
Bush was a cheerleader in high school, and continued to be one while he attended Yale.
In high school, he was even promoted to head cheerleader.
Number 87. In total, there are 205 bones in the skeleton of a horse.
Even though they are much greater in size to humans, we have 206, horses have just about the same number of bones in their skeleton as we do.
Number 88.
Coca-Cola owns all website URLs that can be read as are, all the way up to 62 hours. A 2013 digital campaign by Coca-Cola spurred the company to purchase all 62 URLs.
Number 89.
Each year there are more than 40,000 toilet-related injuries in the United States.
Some of these make sense, like a child or infant falling in.
Others are attributed to toilet seats falling down, or complications due to bowel movements.
Number 90. Strawberries can be red, yellow, green or white. This of course refers to the different maturity stages of a strawberry. Before it's ripe and red, it will be green.
Yellow strawberries are a different type altogether, called alpine strawberries.
Number 91.
Mewtwo is a clone of the Pokémon Mew, yet it comes before Mew in the Pokédex. Because Mewtwo was in the Pokémon game, but Mew was only acquired through events at the time, Mewtwo was given the number 150, while Mew is number 151.
Number 92.
4 people lived in a home for 6 months infested with about 2,000 brown recluse spiders, but none of them were harmed. While the brown recluse is one of 3 spiders in North America with venom that requires medical treatment, they are hardly ever aggressive.
Number 93. Madonna suffers from brontophobia, which is the fear of thunder.
This scary-sounding word isn't so complicated, it's the fear of thunder. Madonna is so scared of it that she has been known to frequently check weather reports before shows. The fear of thunder is also known as astrophobia, astrapophobia, cheirophobia or tonitrophobia.
Number 94.
In June 2017, the Facebook community reached 2 billion active users. Meaning, more than a quarter of the world's population uses this popular social media outlet.
Number 95.
Samuel L. Jackson requested a purple lightsaber in Star Wars in order for him to accept the part as Mace Windu. Jackson wanted to be able to find himself on screen in big fight scenes, so he managed to get George Lucas to approve his request and grant him with a purple lightsaber.
Number 96.
Parascavadecatriophobia is the fear of Friday the 13th. A few famous people are stricken with this absurd phobia, such as Franklin Roosevelt, and surprisingly enough, Stephen King.
Number 97.
Kleenex tissues were originally used as filters in gas masks.
They were originally been developed as crepe paper and used for gas mask filters.
The actual Kleenex product we know of today evolved from that by accident.
Number 98.
In 1998, Sony accidentally sold 700,000 camcorders that had the technology to see through people's clothes. These cameras had special lenses that use infrared light meant to be used as night vision, but it also allowed you to see through some types of clothing.
Number 99.
During your lifetime, you will spend around 38 days brushing your teeth. This equals out to about 35.5 days in total. At about 2 minutes per day, this equates to 0.1% of your life.
Number 100.
Ronald McDonald is Donald McDonald in Japan because it makes pronunciation easier for the Japanese. Ever since the first McDonald's opened in Japan in 1971, the mascot has been called Donald McDonald.
Often, Japanese people are surprised to learn he has a different name everywhere else. Number 101.
Honeybees can get drunk on fermented tree sap. It affects bees in a similar way that alcohol affects humans, causing flying accidents and making it difficult to get back to the hive. Sober bees at the hive will attack the drunken bees to prevent them from entering the hive.
Number 102. Heart attacks are more likely to happen on a Monday.
Okay, this isn't exactly a fun fact, but it is interesting.
Heart attacks are increased by 20% on Mondays.
The most common time for them to happen is between 4 to 10 a.m.
Number 103. People with brain damage can suffer from joke addiction.
A study by neurologists showed that some patients who suffered from brain trauma and have developed damage on the right-hand side of their brain have a compulsive obsession to tell jokes which they find hilarious, whilst not finding other people's jokes funny.
Number 104. Billy goats urinate on their own heads to smell more attractive to females. Billy goats, or bucks, is the name given to male goats.
Generally they urinate on themselves in late summer through fall, and for humans, it's not a pleasant smell.
Number 105.
There has never been a verified snow leopard attack on a human being. Unlike many other big cats, snow leopards are not aggressive towards humans. They are very reclusive creatures, and even if they are disturbed, they are more likely to run away than to attack.
Number 106. There is a sea slug that is part animal and part plant. The Elysia chlorotica, a green sea slug, is the first animal ever discovered to create chlorophyll like a plant. This makes it capable of photosynthesis, meaning it is part animal and part plant. Number 107. The common cold comes from camels.
Scientists studying a deadly disease transmitted from camels also found camels contain the pathogens from which the common cold was born. Camels are able to transmit diseases to humans, and this is where they believe the common cold originated.
Number 108. You can fire a gun in space.
Modern firearm ammunition contains its own oxidizer, a chemical which triggers the explosion of gunpowder that fires a bullet. This means that the oxygen-free vacuum of space wouldn't stop a gun from firing, as no atmospheric oxygen is required.
Number 109. Ketchup was a medicine in the early 1800s.
In 1834, American Dr. John Cook Bennett added tomatoes to ketchup, adding many vitamins and antioxidants to the sauce. He then branded it as a medicine to cure diarrhea, indigestion, jaundice, and rheumatism.
Number 110.
In 2017, more people were killed from injuries caused by taking a selfie than by shark attacks. There was only 5 deaths due to shark attacks in 2017, which is lower than the average year. The average amount of deaths caused by sharks is 6. Worldwide, there was 35 deaths caused by taking selfies in 2017.
Number 111.
The word emoji comes from the Japanese words e and moji, which mean picture and character. The link to the English words emotion and emoticon are purely coincidental.
Number 112.
Grapes are fatally toxic to cats and dogs, even in small amounts. Despite lots of research into the matter, the exact agent in grapes that causes their toxicity to dogs and cats is still unknown. All that is known is that they cause acute kidney failure quickly followed by death in dogs and cats.
Number 113.
The Louvre in Paris is so large that it would take 100 days to look at each piece. It's so large and full of so much art that it'd take a person 100 days to look at each individual piece for 30 seconds 24/7.
Crazy stuff. Number 114. In the 18th century, smallpox scars would get you a job.
By having smallpox scars, it showed that you had already had smallpox, so employers didn't have to worry about you getting it and taking time off work.
Number 115.
Before 1913, you could legally mail a baby. Mailing children became a common practice in rural America as the price of postage for a child was cheaper than the price of child's train or bus ticket.
Thank God this one's not legal anymore. Number 116.
The inventor of the frisbee was cremated and made into a frisbee after he died. Walter Frederick Morrison invented the frisbee in 1948, which was originally called the Pluto platter. In 2010, at age 90 he died and his family cremated him and turned his ashes into the frisbee.
Number 117.
By 400 BC, Persian engineers mastered the technique of storing ice in the middle of desert summers. This was done through the use of subterranean storage space and thick, heat-resistant construction materials.
Number 118.
Kit Harington is related to the man who invented the flush toilet, and one of the gunpowder plot perpetrators. Kit Harington, Jon Snow from Game of Thrones, is a descendant of Sir John Harington, on his father's side, inventor of the flushing toilet, and also Robert Catesby, on his mother's side, who tried to blow up Parliament with Guido Fawkes.
Number 119.
The word burrito means little donkey in Spanish. This is because a burrito can carry many things just like a donkey can.
Number 120. Hawaiian pizza is a Canadian invention.
Retired Canadian cook Sam Panopoulos was the first person to put pineapple and ham on a pizza together, and marketed it as a Hawaiian pizza in the Satellite restaurant in Chatham, Ontario.
Number 121.
Every year, the Netherlands sends Canada 20,000 tulip bulbs. This is done as a way of thanking Canada for their role in liberating the Netherlands from Axis occupation during World War II.
Number 122. Jupiter has a lost moon.
The planet's outermost moon, S/2003 J2, was discovered by scientists in 2003, but hasn't been spotted since then and is considered as lost.
How embarrassing to lose a moon. Number 123.
Famous French painter Claude Monet was only rich because he won the lottery. Like most other artists of his time, Monet was dirt poor.
And, like most dirt poor people, he played the lottery. His luck changed when he won 100,000 francs and lived a life of luxury and wealth after this. Number 124.
Before alarm clocks were affordable, there were professional knocker-uppers to wake people up for work.
This was something that started during the Industrial Revolution in Britain, and carried on in some places until the 1970s. Number 125.
Former President Lyndon B. Johnson's life was saved by a random toilet break. During his World War II service, LBJ was due to fly in the observation seat of the B-26 bomber Wabash Cannonball. However, he was replaced when he had to go to the toilet before takeoff. The Wabash Cannonball was shot down during that flight over New Guinea with no survivors.
Number 126.
The coloring of Gizmo's fur from the Gremlins matches Steven Spielberg's dog. Spielberg, who executive produced the film, requested the effects team make Gizmo's fur orange and white to match his beagle, Chauncey.
Number 127.
Japanese people use more paper for manga than toilet roll. Crazy as though it may sound, this is 100% true, especially as most modern Japanese toilets feature bidet washing facilities rather than toilet paper.
Number 128.
Birds don't urinate. Contrary to what most mammals do, birds convert nitrogen to uric acid. They get rid of this uric acid through the same place as they get rid all their other waste, their anus.
Number 129. Chickens are the closest living relatives to the T-Rex.
This was discovered through the intricate reconstruction of the avian genome structure, which discovered that the chicken lineage most closely resembles that of the king of the dinosaurs.
Number 130. Adult mayflies have no functional mouth. Because of this, they die of malnutrition.
This is an evolutionary occurrence that happens so aging mayflies don't pass on genetic defects to the next generation.
Number 131. M&M's turned down product placement in E.T.
They were offered the chance to feature as the titular alien's favorite candy by Steven Spielberg, but they turned the offer down as they believed the movie would bomb.
Instead, the then unknown Reese's peanut butter cups were used, and this catapulted their product to its current heights. Number 132. There is a type of mouse that howls to defend its territory.
Known as the grasshopper mouse, this fierce little rodent has a main diet of scorpions, centipedes and other scary creepy crawlies, and it marks and defends its territory by howling loudly.
Number 133. The words laser and radar were originally acronyms.
They stood for light amplifications by stimulated emission of radiation and radio detection and ranging respectively.
Number 134. Men are 23% more likely to be left-handed than women.
This means that being a left-handed lady is incredibly rare, seeing as only 10% of the world's population are left-hand dominant.
Number 135.
In Japan, girls buy boys gifts on Valentine's Day. 1 month later, on March the 14th, the Japanese celebrate White Day, which is when boys will buy gifts for the girls who gave them gifts on Valentine's Day. This happened because of a printing error by a chocolate company in their initial promotions for Valentine's Day.
Number 136. Over 1/4 of the world's hazelnuts are used to make Nutella.
Each year, roughly 365 million kilos, the rough weight of the Empire State Building, of Nutella is consumed. Because of the world's huge Nutella consumption, the Italian company Ferrero buys 1/4 of the globally produced hazelnuts each year.
Number 137. Seeing eye dogs can poop on command.
This is part of the rigorous training they must undergo, and is essential so that their blind owners know when to pick up their poop.
Number 138.
A black cat called Luna once saved her owners from a house fire. Despite being widely considered unlucky, this particular black cat was a lucky omen for its family of owners when it woke one them by biting her feet as the house caught ablaze. Luna's owner, Emily, was able to safely evacuate her entire family, Luna included, before the house burnt to the ground.
Number 139.
Scientists put fake tails on chickens to understand how T-Rex might have walked.
As the closest living relative to a T-Rex, any practical testing falls to the humble chicken.
So researchers from the University of Chicago and University of Chile found that chickens with raised tails walk vastly different over chickens with natural tail features, showing them how a T-Rex would have walked.
Number 140.
Mock naval battles were sometimes held in Rome's Colosseum. Often thought of as the home of just the gladiatorial games, the Romans would sometimes flood the Colosseum with water from a nearby aqueduct and hold full-scale mock naval battles for entertainment and to test out new technologies and tactics.
Number 141.
Millions of birds a year die from smashing into windows in the US alone. The actual number is somewhere between 365 million and 988 million. While the exact number of the bird population is uncertain, this comes out to about 2 to 10% of birds in the United States.
Number 142. During World War II, the British Navy destroyed French vessels after France fell to Germany.
The British feared the French naval vessels would bump up the numbers of the Axis fleet, so they sailed to Algeria and destroyed them whilst they were at anchor, killing 1,300 French sailors.
Number 143. The first death in the American Civil War was a horse.
In fact, the only casualty during the Battle of Fort Sumter, the war's first battle, was the poor Confederate officer's trusty steed.
Number 144.
Johnny Cash has a species of tarantula named after him. Scientifically named Aphonopelma johnnycashi, this tarantula was discovered in 2015 near Folsom Prison, California, and was named after Johnny Cash in honor of his song Folsom Prison Blues.
Number 145. The word disaster means bad star in ancient Greek.
This is because back in ancient Greek times, astrology was often used as a means of predicting things such as the weather, or natural events like earthquakes. So by seeing a bad star it would mean a calamity was inbound.
Number 146.
The startup sound for Windows 95 was made on an Apple Macintosh computer.
It was created by composer Brian Eno specifically on a Mac as he'd never used a PC, because he doesn't like them. Ironic. Number 147.
In the 18th century, Napoleon and Benjamin Franklin were both defeated at chess by a machine.
The machine was called the Mechanical Turk.
It was, however, later revealed to be a very elaborate hoax, with a highly skilled chess master hiding inside the machine and moving the pieces against the opponent.
Number 148.
The world's loudest bird call can be heard from half a mile away. That's 0.8 kilometers away. This piercing call belongs to the three-wattled bellbird, and what's more is that they have different sounding calls in different countries, like regional accents.
Number 149. At one point, you could invest money in Somali pirates. By investing in the Somali pirates, you would receive a cut of their loot if their plundering was successful. Number 150.
Steve Irwin has a snail named after him. Scientifically called the Crikey Steve Irwini, scientists discovered this rare species of tree snail in 2009. They named it in honor of the late explorer as its shell was khaki in color, like the crocodile hunter's signature outfit.
Number 151.
Sierra Leone is the world's roundest country.
And it sits not too far from Egypt, which is the world's squarest country. Number 152. Bin Laden's death was announced on 1st of May 2011.
Hitler's death was announced on 1st of May 1945. Both of these cruel leaders' deaths were announced on the same day, but due to the time difference, Bin Laden actually died on May 2nd. The announcement was made in the US, which was hours enough ahead to still be May 1st.
Number 153.
In Ethiopia, there is a place known as the Gateway to Hell. This place is one of Earth's hottest places and its air is toxic to humans. Scientists have been able to find organisms living inside its acid pools that can survive without oxygen.
Number 154. There is a nut on a helicopter called the Jesus nut.
The Jesus nut is the nut that fixes the rotor blades to the helicopter. It is called a Jesus nut because if it fails, then all that's left to do is pray to Jesus.
Number 155.
Nearly 3% of the ice in Antarctic glaciers is penguin urine. Because the temperature in the Antarctic is well below zero, the urine can't evaporate and just combines with the glaciers.
Number 156.
QWERTY keyboards were originally supposed to slow down typing. This was by spacing out commonly used letters so that the typewriters they were fitted to wouldn't jam as often.
Number 157. You get goosebumps when you're scared to make you look bigger.
This harks back to caveman days when the best way to fend off a predator was by looking scarier than that predator. That's why your hairs stand on edge when you get goosebumps, so you look bigger and scarier.
Number 158.
Katy Perry and My Chemical Romance have done song covers for The Sims. When you hear your Sims singing along in their made-up little Simlish language, those songs are actually covers recorded by the famous artists who originally sang them just for the purpose of the games.
Number 159.
Russia was founded by a group of Viking traders called the Rus. They initially settled the land to create a series of trading towns between their Scandinavian home and the Byzantine Empire.
Number 160.
King Henry VIII slept with a gigantic axe beside him.
This wasn't the only lethal weapon he owned.
King Henry VIII had a huge collection of weapons, which included 6,500 handguns.
Number 161.
Walt Disney World is the second largest buyer of explosives in the US. They are second only to the US Department of Defense, purchasing the majority of their explosives in the form of fireworks.
Number 162. John F. Kennedy was buried without his brain.
This was initially a great mystery in life, with the official story being that JFK's brain was just lost during his autopsy. However, in 2018 newly released U.S. government documents revealed that his younger brother, Robert Bobby Kennedy, had the brain secretly destroyed to ensure it was never displayed in a museum.
Number 163.
The air in the subway is 15% human skin. As humans are constantly shedding skin, and the subway is an environment full of recycled air, it should come as no surprise that 15% of the air you're breathing on the subway is the skin of those around you. Gross.
Number 164.
In 1969, people on a hijacked plane thought they were on a prank hidden camera show. This was because the presenter of prank show Candid Camera, Alan Funt, was on the fateful plane when it was hijacked. This led people to believe that they were on the show themselves and it was all a big joke.
Number 165.
In 1977, scientists received a signal from deep space.
Known as the WOW
signal, this strong narrowband signal lasted only 7 seconds, and to this day, scientists still don't know what it was or where exactly it came from.
Number 166. Cockroaches can live for weeks without their heads.
Their severed head can survive for several hours on its own, more if it's refrigerated. The headless cockroach only dies due to starvation.
Number 167.
A person adds 37 million bacteria to a room every hour. This might sound really gross, especially for you germaphobes, sorry. However, Most of the bacteria spikes in a room coming from a person result from stirring up the room's current bacteria, as well as adding your own.
Number 168. When you eat oysters raw, they're still alive. Oysters must be alive when caught to be sold for eating purposes.
Oyster fishermen test oysters to make sure they're still living by tapping their shells and seeing if they close up.
Number 169. Lobsters have teeth in their stomach.
Instead of chewing with their mouths, they swallow their food whole and chew it when it's in their tummies.
Not only that, but lobsters also have two stomachs. Number 170.
In 1912, a French orphanage held a raffle, with babies as the prize. The orphanage's management had consulted the Parisian authorities before the raffle, and did carry out an investigation of the winners to make sure they were suitable parents for the prize babies.
Number 171. Mosquitoes are the world's deadliest animal.
Because of the fact that they spread many blood-borne diseases such as malaria, dengue fever and the West Nile virus, they are responsible for the deaths of millions of people each year.
Number 172.
Farm-raised salmon are dyed pink. The normal color of farm-raised salmon is actually gray. Salmon farmers add a chemical called canthaxanthin to their food to dye their meat pink. Canthaxanthin is linked to retinal damage in humans.
Number 173.
If you fell into a volcano, you'd float on the lava instead of melting. This is because the molten goo's density is so thick that you would just land on it and float until you burst into flames.
Number 174. The average person produces about half a pint of sweat each day from their feet.
With 250,000 sweat glands, it's no surprise that feet are one of the body's sweatiest parts.
Number 175. A woman tried to commit suicide by jumping off the Empire State Building.
She jumped from the 86th floor but was blown back onto the 85th floor by a gust of wind. Standing almost 1,500 feet tall, there's no way anyone could survive that fall. However, when Elvita Adams tried to kill herself by jumping, a strong gust of wind blew her to the floor below.
The worst injury she sustained was a fractured hip. Number 176.
It takes 600 cows to make one season's worth of NFL footballs. The Wilson Sporting Goods Company in Ohio has been the NFL football supplier since 1941 and makes more than 2 million footballs of different types each year. It's not exactly a fun fact, sorry, but you can find 10 interesting facts about the NFL here.
Number 177. Prisoners at Alcatraz were given the luxury of hot showers. This was a comfort not often given to prisoners in many prisons at the time.
However, the management at Alcatraz afforded their prisoners hot showers to stop them from becoming acclimatized to cold water, which would aid their escape from the island.
Number 178.
You can get a McDonald's Gold Card that entitles you to free food for life. Amongst the members of this very exclusive club are Warren Buffett and Bill Gates. Another man with a gold card is everyday hero Charles Ramsey, who ditched his half-eaten Big Mac to rescue 3 kidnapped women.
Number 179. The German government thanked David Bowie for helping break down the Berlin Wall.
This was because Bowie's iconic performance of his hit song Heroes was hailed as a catalyst to the Berlin Wall being demolished. Upon his death in 2016, the German government issued a statement thanking David Bowie for helping bring down the wall.
Number 180. The compound used to make dynamite is used for treating heart problems.
Nitroglycerin, the thing dynamite is made from, is used to treat problems like lack of blood flow to the heart. Fun fact, it is also used to treat heart attacks in emergency rooms.
Number 181.
Sometimes earthquakes naturally cause lights to appear. Previously believed to be caused by birds, planes, and sometimes UFOs, these natural lights are actually caused by the electrical properties of certain rocks in certain settings. They can appear as many different types of colors and shapes.
Number 182. Nikola Tesla once paid for a hotel bill with a death ray.
As most people know, Nikola Tesla was A genius and B, dirt poor. So when his hotel bill was overdue, he gave the employees a death bean contained in a box. He told employees not to open the box due to the danger, so it was forgotten about. When it was rediscovered and opened, it contained only old, harmless electrical parts.
Number 183. Freddie Mercury designed the Queen logo himself.
The frontman and performer extraordinaire was also a talented graphic designer, having a degree in the subject. He made the Queen crest as a compilation of the zodiac symbols of all four members.
Number 184.
The world's biggest epidemic started in America and killed over 100 million people. Starting in 1918, this pandemic claimed the lives of more people than both the war deaths of World War I and II. It is largely unknown and largely unreported at the time due to the Sedition Act and to keep up public morale.
Number 185.
The Empire State Building cost nearly one-third less than budgeted. The original cost of the project was supposed to be $60 million, but it actually only cost $40,948,900 to construct.
Number 186.
Cats don't naturally meow. Meowing is an addition to a cat's vocabulary made almost entirely to communicate with humans.
Number 187. David Hasselhoff has a crab named after him.
The deep-sea Hoff crab is so named because it has a dense covering of setae, hard bristles, on its shell, which looks like David Hasselhoff's hairy chest.
Number 188.
Ernest Hemingway loved cats.
He had a polydactyl, multi-toed cat called Snow White, and his old house in Florida is now a museum full of about 40 to 50 descendants of Snow White. Number 189.
Despite only being 3% of your body weight, the brain consumes about 20% of your calorie intake. This 20% energy usage is only for regular functions, and doesn't account for mental activities like studying or doing puzzles.
Number 190. A flock of crows is known as a murder. Some might say that a group of 2 crows is an attempted murder. Number 191.
Dying is illegal in the Houses of Parliaments. Strange as it is, this law is in place because anyone who dies in the Houses of Parliaments is entitled to a state funeral.
This has been voted as the most ridiculous law by the British citizens. Number 192.
Early helicopters had wooden rotor blades. This was because, before the invention of fiberglass, wood was used due to the fact that it was lightweight, strong and resistant to fatigue.
Number 193.
Tomato ketchup has lots of health benefits.
It reduces the risk of prostate cancer, increases sperm count, cuts cholesterol and improves your eyesight. Number 194.
On Saturn's largest moon, Titan, a person could fly by attaching wings to their arms. This is because the atmosphere is so thick and the gravity is so low, that if you flapped wings attached to your arms you could fly like a bird.
Number 195. Research shows that everyone has up to 6 doppelgangers.
It has even been found that people of different genders can be doppelgangers of each other.
Furthermore, there is only a 9% chance that you will meet one of your doppelgangers in your lifetime. Number 196. Canada has the world's smallest jail.
Located in Rodney, Ontario, this teeny-tiny jail is only 15 feet by 19 feet and only contains 2 cells.
Number 197. Popcorn is the healthiest cinema snack and has serious health benefits.
Eating popcorn builds bone, muscle and tissue, as well as aiding digestion and being good for your teeth.
Number 198.
You can have your ashes turned into a firework. There is a global company called Heavens Above Fireworks who perform the task of turning you into a firework once you die, so you can go out with a bang.
Number 199.
Russia defrosted some prehistoric worms, and 2 woke up. Collected from the permafrost in the Arctic, the 2 worms were among 300 defrosted for analysis in 2018. After they thawed out, 2 of the worms started moving and eating. One is 32,000 years old, and the other is 41,700 years old.
Number 200.
A 12-year-old French boy once faked his kidnapping to get out of going to the dentist. After being found in a village 100 miles from his home, the young boy lied to the police and said he'd been kidnapped, even going so far as to describe his kidnapper's distinctive cheek scar. After the police searched for a month and re-questioned the boy, he confessed to faking it to get out of a dentist appointment.
We hope you enjoyed these 200 fun facts.
Did they make your life better?